It says officially class 3 and officially class 2. So in class 1, 2, what we actually talked about was laying the foundation for this journey that we're going to be taking for the next 60 days, I guess now 58 days, 57 days. And so laying that foundation, we kind of walk through a few different things. One, Larry is going to, or I'm going to email out the slides that we had from yesterday. So we didn't get a chance to do that today because I literally just met with Lyria. Since we are using Google Meet, we've never used this tool, the structure, to actually do daily meetings. Most of the time, our trainings are like sort of, I don't know, really, I'm trying to think of what the format is, but the word escapes me, where we just speak and most people don't interact. This is an interactive class. And so because it's interactive and we all have the ability to unmute and to be able to talk. And that's the whole purpose, because I actually want you all to make some progress on your print on demand. This process is a little different. So we are going to upload those training videos. Larry is going to upload them at the end of the week. And so I just wanted you to be aware that they will be uploaded to the eCom Sellers Mastery section. We're going to have to reorganize some of that, and she's going to download them directly from Google Meet. But in the meantime, if at any time that you need to see them, like they haven't been uploaded yet, then you can reach out to me and I'll definitely send you the link so you can go rewatch it on your own. So yesterday's class, we actually went through what the whole structure of the class is going to be. So the first, this is going to be, at this point, today will probably be more than 30 minutes, but traditionally it'll be 30 minutes. And so the first 10 minutes is intended for you, or 5, for you to ask questions for what your yesterday's assignment was. Whatever the questions you have on your print-on-demand product, that's your first thing. The second piece of that, the next 10 minutes, is for us to talk about what you're going to be creating today. And so, you know, we kind of did a brainstorm a little bit, and I'll recap yesterday in just a second. So you're going to be spending 10 minutes actually going through, and we're going to talk through what your assignment is for the day. And then the last 10 minutes is for you to actually start that process in class. So you'll be able to share your screen. We'll be able to talk about what you're starting and using the tools. So yesterday I said that everyone needed to create a rank 1, not rank 1, E-rank. Sorry, I have sports in my brain. An E-rank account. You have the ability to create a free E-rank account. So you can go to erank.com and begin the process of creating your account. So erank.com to create your account. That's the first thing. If you didn't do that, please go do that. The second thing is that you need to create a Canva account. You can create a free Canva account. You'll go to canva.com. I'm already logged in, so I'm already logged into everything. But you can log into canva.com and choose a free account so you can create your Canva account. The third thing is that you're going to create an Etsy account. Again, I'm going to email those slides as soon as we finish just going through a bunch of stuff today. But you'll be able to create your Etsy account if you haven't already created your Etsy account. And then depending on what your e-commerce print-on-demand model is going to be long-term beyond this class, you're going to create some additional accounts on other platforms as well. So eRank is 1, Canva is number 2, Etsy is number 3, and then we will have additional accounts that you'll create later. Does anybody have any questions about those 3 tasks, those 3 assignments?
No, well, I don't.
Okay. Then the next thing that we talked about, I don't know, did we lose somebody? We didn't lose anybody. Okay, good. So all set. All right. So then the next thing that we talked about yesterday was going through the process of what this journey, this model is going to look like. So we're going to start with simple printables, simple downloadable documents, because for the first 2 weeks, we're going to use it as the foundation to build our consistency and to build our comfort level with the Canva product and to build our comfort level with Etsy. There's a reason why we're starting off slow. So we're literally creating a design every single day. We're creating it in Canva. We're going to do extremely simple stuff. And we're going to upload those to Etsy so we get really comfortable and familiar with the tools and with the product. Okay. So the example I gave yesterday was educational. For my son, we're just doing simple educational stuff. So educational flashcards. Flashcards are simple and they don't require a significant amount of, like, oh, I got to know how to do graphics and I got to know. It didn't require any of that. So you literally, like, you could do this just using Word on your own personal computer. But you can see here, like, there's flashcards where they just have the number 1 and the number 2, the number 3, and the number 4. And people are selling them. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get rich this first several weeks or the second several weeks. So we're starting off with the basics for the first 2 weeks. Very simple. We're going to talk about what your specific target is going to be in just a second. The second 2 weeks of this journey is where we're going to pick it up a little bit, and we're going to take our model and do just a little bit more with it. It's still probably going to be some level of downloadable or digital product, but we're going to do some advanced stuff, a little bit more advanced stuff with it. The third 2 weeks is where we're going to explore other platforms, and we're going to explore additional ways to do this print on demand thing. And journey 4, or the fourth 2 week period, because we're only here for June and July, is we're going to take that last 4 weeks and we're going to take our initial product, whatever our starting platform was, and we're going to turn that into low content books. We're going to literally go through multiple ways in which you can do print on demand, because you can do print on demand with designs on hats and clothes and bags and phone case covers and tennis shoes and socks and wall art and jewelry. Like, we're going to hit them all. We're just going to do them in phases. We're going to do some of the simple stuff first, just so you can get familiar with the product. And then at the end, we're going to have a long-term product. Now, does everybody understand at least the concept of this journey? Step by step, every day, we're doing something. We're good?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. So with that journey, I talked about yesterday, my son, Tony, we're starting with academics, because low content books are a way to generate passive income, a lot of passive income. The example is during COVID, and we're still in COVID, and who knows what's going to happen because the COVID numbers are going up. They don't know what they're going to do. This thing is just continuing to evolve, and it's going to be whatever it's going to be. But on the beginning part of this journey, a bunch of parents were buying sort of learning materials for their kids online. They were buying a bunch of stuff on Etsy for preschoolers, for sure, to give them activities to do at home, so the parents didn't have to create them. So they were ordering numbers and letters and shapes and Lord have mercy, math and reading sight words, and they were ordering all these things off of Etsy. In addition to that, they were looking for already put together books that already had these, like workbooks. So when this is done for my son Tony, he'll literally already have a workbook that has all the stuff in it. He'll have a workbook from the standpoint of with the letters and numbers, and he's got vehicles, he's got occupations, medical profession, office, corporate jobs, laboring jobs. Like, he has all of these different flashcards. His whole thing has been flashcards. I can't remember what the last one he did was. I'd have to go look. But when he's done, he'll be able to put them all into one book or multiple books that he can sell as a low content book, because during COVID, or during the early stages of COVID, parents were buying workbooks for their kids to do at home. So there are people out there that were making like $15,000 and $20,000 a month selling low content books that they had created a long time ago, because they were flying off the shelf. Print on demand, low content books. So we had the opportunity to talk. Hazel, we missed you yesterday, and there's another person that's supposed to be here, and another 3 other people supposed to be here. So I don't know where they are, but we're going to talk through the conversation I had with Charlotte and with Debbie yesterday. I think they were really good conversations. So I said, what is it that you have a passion to do? What is it that you like? What is it that you're interested in? So Charlotte mentioned that she would like to create, because you can create flashcards for anything. You can create flashcards, note cards for people for instructional things. You can do recipe cards, and then you can turn that into later on a recipe book, so it can evolve into something. You can do scripture cards. People use scriptures to teach their kids, and then turn that into like a scripture book or a journaling book. There's the gamut of things that we have the potential to do is just enormous. And so I kind of In the slides that we were talking about yesterday, we talked about, okay, you can also create blank sheets. People want lined paper. Don't ask me why they want lined paper. You can create an entire book of just lined paper, and people buy that stuff. Educational materials, again, I started with preschool, then he's going to go to first grade, then he's going to do second grade, third grade, fourth grade. So he's going to progress through, and then we're ultimately going to create low content books for each one of those grades, multiple low content books, and they're just going to be out there for people to buy at whenever they're ready. And we're going to put them on multiple platforms: flashcards, note cards, quotes. Again, how many times have you seen quotes flashed all over the internet and all over social media? And then there's quote books, and people love flipping through those things. They like turn it into a coffee table book and put it on their coffee table so that when people come to see them or whatever, visit, they got a book full of quotes from famous people in it. Things you don't have to worry about. Okay. These are things that have a very low copyright possibility, which we haven't gotten into copyrights. I'm going to talk about that today. But scriptures, again, scripture books, daily devotional journals, all of that stuff. Flashcards of images, different images, everything from animals to things that you have in your house, things that things that go in the kitchen, things that go in whatever. There are different groups of people that need that kind of stuff. I have special needs kids, and so my kids have been taught for years with flashcards. They would go through and say, okay, show me things that you would find in your kitchen. And so they would have these flashcards on the table, and they would have random pictures, and some of them had nothing to do with things that you would find in the kitchen. Like a bathtub would be one of the pictures, and the kid would have to know that the bathtub does not fit in this realm. And so someone created those flashcards so that therapist could use them on my kids. So when I say you can do anything, you can really do anything. Recipes, some of you are amazing cooks. People, even famous peoples, you could create a deck. Some people have created games of famous people. So it's like a flashcard, just like baseball cards, cards of famous people, something you can do. Jobs, affirmations. So there are some people who love to have a daily affirmation. You can create long-term, bigger picture, a daily affirmation calendar. So every day, the desktop calendars that are sort of the triangle pyramid kind of thing, or triangle, not pyramid. Yeah, like something like that. You can just rip off the page. And so every day it's got an affirmation on there, or inspirational, helpful cards, tip cards. So tips for different things. Think about those that are aging seniors that are going to be living independently, and someone has to come into that house every single day and work or check on that senior, or adults, the kids that are going to be adults, like my son who has special needs, who needs that, like little tips in each one of the rooms that he walks into. Like right now in my house, like we have stuff on the wall. If you ever came to my house, we literally have not signage, but things that I've created in each one of the rooms, so that when Nicholas goes into that room, if his assignment is to clean up the bathroom, he knows step by step what he's supposed to be doing. The instructions on how to brush his teeth. Again, most people don't think about that kind of stuff. Some parent somewhere is buying that. I am that parent that's buying that. And with the statistics around disabilities, the numbers are going up. So I think you get the idea that there's absolutely nothing that we can't just create and then eventually turn that into something that becomes a bigger, useful tool for somebody later on. So Charlotte started with, she would love to do, I think you said a journal, scripture journal. And I love the idea because she could build scripture cards right now and then eventually repurpose those same scripture cards that she spends the first 2 weeks playing around with, kind of getting familiar with the tool, come up with different designs. And then in the last 2 weeks, she literally could turn that into a low content journal book. She's already created the cards. She just needs to copy and paste that stuff into a page with lined paper. Or maybe she does blank paper. Who knows? I have no idea what her plan is. I'm not here to tell her what to do. I'm here to inspire her to say this can become something much bigger. And when you think about it, when I say much bigger, she's got the opportunity to do preschool. She's got the opportunity to put something together for preschool. That's a journal that parents can use to help their children build a relationship with the Lord. Then you've got elementary level, you got middle school level, you got high school level. I love all of that. And then she can go beyond that and talk about, young adults and couples and families. And so you could have a journal for any number of things. By the time she's done, she could have a literal full-fledged corporation where she has built this entire empire around what started off as little scripture cards. Anything is possible. Trust me, anything is possible. And then the same thing with Debbie. So Debbie, initially we started off with organization, but I was in the wrong place when we were talking about organization because I thought, huh? Do what? I'm sorry. I missed somebody. So Debbie talked about organization, and I thought that I was like, okay, I thought she was talking about planners and stuff like that, but no, she's talking about like organizing your house. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good one. So when you think about organizing your house, and let me pick back up on a thought that I had around Charlotte's idea. Because kids are going to VBS this summer, the interest in building relationship with the Lord, especially depending on the number of kids that go through VBS this summer, she can build those things now and then piggyback off of that and give them a tool when they're going back to school. She could literally create a back to school journal for scriptures where they have a daily devotion or a daily scripture to read while they're back in school, because we already know school is tough for kids. So again, we're building off of the momentum and the interest that's already out there naturally and organically. And that's extremely important to know, because if you choose an area where there is no true, like you got to find that target audience, you got to struggle to find that target audience, that's going to be a challenge. Whereas there's a significant number of kids, there are millions of kids that are going to be going through VBS this summer. VBS starts at different times throughout the summer. But again, if she created a devotional at the end of this 60-day period, or a scripture journaling book at the end of this 60-day period that is specifically for back to school, it is going to sell, because parents are already in the throes of buying stuff for their kids to go back to school. And kids had the summer to spend learning about the Lord and building a relationship with the Lord. And so now that interest and the money, people are in the natural realm, the natural cycle of spending money on things that are going to help their kids into the new school year. And what better to help them than to have a scripture journal? So kudos to you, Charlotte. Now, let me go back to Debbie. So Debbie had the organization, and I love Debbie's idea because of the fact people are buying houses. So again, our goal is to get people going in the natural realm. I don't know. Did I lose somebody or gain somebody? Admit. Okay, there we go. So Debbie had, I think I admitted somebody. How many people do I have? I think I have everybody. Okay. So Debbie's idea was to work on organization. And because people are already buying houses, and the interest and the momentum around buying or even renting houses, either one of the two, is big. There are people that do staging to make a house ready for staging. And then there are people that come in and do organizing a house to make it less cluttered, to make it easier to get around. I think about, again, like my son, when I decided at some point that I'm going to put him into potentially housing in the special needs community. They're having a house that's laid out a certain way for things to be found easy is going to be of interest to me. And so having that house organized, I love it. And so she has the opportunity to build off of an existing momentum that exists right now and make money off of that. People are staging houses. She could create long-term bigger picture when she's done with her low content book, create something that is for different styles houses, different size houses, like 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom with 2 baths. Like she could create an organizational checklist or something that an organizer will be going through, or someone that is doing staging will be going through. So she can create single sheets. She can create multiple sheets. But I think, does everybody sort of understand the concept of where this can go? So you got to pick a topic that we're going to use as a starting point. That doesn't mean you have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. But where there's already a natural audience, there's already a natural momentum for that specific area. So for those that just joined, I know you're a little late. We'll go back and listen to the replay. But for everyone else, does that make sense? Yes? No? You can unmute yourselves. This is an interactive class.
Yes.
All right. So the person we
Yes,
didn't
it
talk
makes
to
sense.
yesterday was Miss Hazel. So Hazel, you got to tell me what's your passion. What do you like? What are you interested in? Where do you want to start? And you can start anywhere. I'm not
I
saying
I love dogs.
you love dogs. Okay.
Yes. I love Malamutes.
Now, that's a specific breed.
Yes.
Okay. So that is a specific breed, which means there is a target audience for that. That's very specific. Um, so the challenge that I have, I mean, I'm okay. Like if that's what you want to start with, we can start with that because you can go many different ways with that. You can talk about what's required for raising them as pups, breeding, bathing and care, um, house training them. There's all kinds of things. Maybe getting, I don't know if you do dog competitions, but I like a broader area. So then that way you can drill down into that specific breed as you go on the journey. But I think broader cards or broader information about dogs is helpful. So let me just go over to Etsy real quick. And I'm just going to see if there's any type of dog. Let me see printables. Let me see what they've got. Okay. All right. So this is someone has created documents, downloadable documents. Can you see my screen, Hazel?
Barely because I'm on my phone.
Okay. All right. So next time, if you can join through your computer, that would be absolutely fantastic. If it's possible. If it's not, that's okay. You can come back and listen to the replay. Okay. So you'll see that someone created downloadable documents for breeders. There's a whole series of downloadable documents for breeders that happen to be on Etsy. This is the ultimate puppy care record kit, which is awesome. Someone created some flashcards on the different types of dogs. So I know that you have a passion about a specific dog, but and then this is a pet planner. I love that. Somebody created a pet planner. Someone created a dog training cheat sheet and dog care. So there's so many different ways in which you can go. And then if you want to drill in on that specific dog, you can do that. You can create a long-term, a low content book that you can sell multiples or, different kinds for the different types of dogs that you do a little bit of research on. So you spend 15, 20, 30 minutes every single day going through and do a little bit of research on the different dogs and then go and design it directly in Canva and sell it as, individual sheets or flashcards. If you want to start at the elementary level and just do flashcards for the different types of dogs. For kids, that would be fantastic. And then you can expand and continue to move that idea and that entire concept forward. So you have the opportunity. So in yesterday's exercise, when we did this yesterday, I actually went into Canva and I created something on the fly. So you'll be able to look at yesterday's session. So if I take the idea of what Hazel has, which is dogs. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to choose flyer. I'm in Canva. You'll be able to go back and watch the replay because I might move around a little faster than you're expecting me to. Only because I play with this thing all the time. I'm always in Canva doing different things. Okay. So I just clicked on create. That was the first thing. And then once I go over to create, I am going to go over to, I'll start with photos. And I'm going to do dogs. And I'm just going to do a search on dogs. And then there's a couple of different pictures that are here that they already give you for dogs. Now, I don't know if you're the specific dog. What did you call it? A Malamute? No.
It's the Malamute.
I don't even know how to spell that, y'all.
Malamute.
Okay. Oh, okay. It looks like a husky to me. All right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when I see it, I think husky. If this is their official name.
They look just alike.
They look just alike. Okay. All right. So let me just start. Let me see. Where was my session? Over here. So dogs, let's go with husky dog. Because I don't know if they have the Malamute in here. Okay. So that's a husky. Let me see if there's you said M-A-M-A-L-M-U-T.
Yeah, I think that's the correct way to spell it.
So I'm probably messing this up. Let me go back over to Google. M-A-L-A-M-U-T. All right. I don't know if I'm going to find their specific dog. Okay, so this is what came up. So you've got some pictures. If you have a Canva account, now I do have a pro account. So you see these little things over here. that means that I can use any of these pictures in my art that I decide that I want to sell. Okay, I can use these pictures, but I use it because I have a pro account. Okay, so you do have a bunch of pictures of what they have defined as Malamutes that are in here. I'm surprised by that. And you can use it as a starting point if you want to go through and begin creating content around that specific dog. Now I'm gonna see if there's any clip art. I don't know if there's any clip art. Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. Nope. So I'm gonna go backwards and I'm gonna look for clip arts. I'll go to elements and I'm gonna do dogs and I'm gonna do clip arts. Okay, so you do have some clip art, okay, of dogs. I don't know if I have any huskies. So the only thing I will say is that you're going to have to work harder than Debbie would, and you're going to have to Hazel. You're going to have to work harder than Charlotte. And the reason is because you got to find your target audience and find the words that your target audience is using to find their specific products on Etsy for you. So eRank is going to help you with that to some extent, but you're also going to have to do some organic keyword research in order to make sure that you have the right tags on any listings you create. So you're going to have to work a little harder, but you may actually get a great reward on the back end because if people are passionate about the specific dog, they may come back over and over again to get content just from you. If you came out with Malamute, breeder documents and Malamute dog care documents and Malamute, like I don't know what other kind of documents, like puppy training documents, like you came out with all this stuff, you did this over time, you literally have one, something you can sell independently, but two, something you can put into a book for some people that, people create baby books for their kiddos. So maybe people will create a book for their dogs where they put all the amazing stuff about their dog in the book. So that might be something that you create in your low content book. Maybe it becomes something more than low content. I don't know. So here's some clip art. So the way that you get this picture over to this white sheet of paper, if you've never used Canva before, is I can click on it. That's one. You can also drag and drop. So if I wanted to start off with something basic, Hazel, just so I can play with this particular tool and get familiar with the tool, I can maybe start with flashcards for Malamutes or for Husky. It looks like a Husky to me, so I'm going with Husky right now. And
okay.
All right. And so it looks like a Husky to me. So I can start with cards for dogs. Just because I'm going to start with the basics of getting familiar. Remember, the first 2 weeks is getting comfortable with the tools and creating a product that is easy and simple. We're doing easy the first 2 weeks. Okay. So I'm going to go grab text and I'm going to put some text on here. And I don't know why the text is so tiny, but it is. And sorry. So right here underneath the name is this tiny little box that I guess super, super tiny. And so I'm going to change the font size to something that's a little bit bigger. So up here is where the font size adjustments are. And I'm going to go ahead and change it to 42. And if your flashcard set is like breeds of dogs, you can come up here to the title. This is where your title is, guys, of whatever it is you're creating. And we can say breeds of dogs. Okay. So whenever I get ready to download this is where it's going to be. And I can name the first one. And if I wanted to say Husky or if I wanted to write Malamute, I could. I'm going to start off with the basics. Probably make the font a little bit bigger. Okay. And I'm done with the first card. You can make the image bigger if you want to, resize it by grabbing the corners. You can also make the text bigger. Sorry, me and my mouse are always in a divorce state. So, okay. So this is one dog. So that's the first one. Then in order to add the next card, I can click on new page or add a page at the bottom. I can come back over to my elements and I can grab whatever the next dog is that I want to grab and drag and drop in here from a clip art standpoint. So if I want to go to, I don't know, pugs. I don't know is this a pug? I don't know what this is. So that's a pug. But you can go do some quick research. You don't have to do any deep research. We're just going to do some quick research. And we're going to claim that this particular dog is a pug. I have no idea if it is or isn't. You can go look and just be able to tell that. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change the font size. And I'm going to choose pug. Oh, that's white text. I don't want white text. Hold on. Yeah, it's white text. I need black text. Thank you. All right. So what I did there, just so you know what I just did for those who were paying attention, is I noticed that my text was white. So this little color thing here, if I click on this, I need to select the color black so that I can see it because I wasn't able to see it. And so this could be card number 2. You probably want to make sure that whatever the dimensions are for your image, that you're consistent with the dimension and the sizing. And then you can also stay consistent with the naming size. So this is, I have a font size of 96 there. So I'm going to come over here, change this to a font size of 96 by clicking on the drop down, choosing 96. And then I can click on add a new page and I can go and grab the next one. So what I would do in your instance, Hazel, just to get the ball rolling, is I would go and just do a quick Google search on breeds of dogs and maybe write down 10 different breeds that are common. I'm going to start with the common because yours is very specific. I get it. But we're going to start with some common and create a set of flashcards that are about dogs and the different breeds of dogs. Very simple. You can resize your flashcards. You can click up here under the word resize, and I can change this to 11, 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 11. I chose the wrong size. Click on resize here, and then it'll resize the whole thing for you, which is fantastic. And then once you're done with adding a new image, see what you can find over in the clip art. Then the way that you download this is you click on share. And we did part of this exercise yesterday. And then once you click on share, you're going to come here and you want to download your images. You can download all of them together and click done and click download, and it'll create a file for you. The file that you're probably going to download this in is either JPEG or PDF. Those are the two that are probably the ones that you're going to do. And when we create our listings on Etsy, we're going to create our listings and we're going to make the product a downloadable PDF. And again, we kind of went through a little bit of that yesterday. We can go through it again tomorrow, but you'll make it a downloadable PDF so that you can upload it to your Etsy listing. And when people buy it, they will automatically receive it when they get their receipt. So you don't have to do anything. We're trying to make this an automated process where you don't ever have to interact with your customers at all. You just have to make sure that you created the product and that they can access it. Indicate that the type of the file is a product is a downloadable file or downloadable product, and then you're gonna have to fill in some fields and upload your particular product. Okay, so I did give you a really quick flash course on this. I know it was super fast. What we can do is, if you want to, when you get on your computer, we can go through this tomorrow. If you want to join the link like 15 minutes before, we can do a couple of them together so that you're familiar with it. But the one thing you need to do for today's assignment is you need to go create your Canva account, create a free one for starters. You may want to advance to the Pro. I think the Pro is $6 a month. And go create your free eRank account. Okay?
Spell that for me because I was...
eRank is ERANK. I can put it in the chat. So your assignment is eRank and Canva.
Okay. And I have an Etsy account. I don't know whether it's right.
So you're going to create erank.com and you're also going to create
Canva.com. Okay.
So on Canva, because some of the images, yours is specific, looks like they have the little crown next to them. You're going to need, let me go back. You're possibly going to need a Pro account, which I think is $6 a month. So there's an investment there that you need to be prepared for.
Okay.
If you're going to stay with dogs, there's other stuff that doesn't require, like my son started with the alphabet and a lot of his don't have Pro on them, but I already had a Pro account. So, but yeah. Okay. So let's
Okay,
start.
because I plan to make some money with this one.
Okay. Well, I think this is, I mean, we're going to start slow. I'm not telling you in your first 2 weeks you're going to be rich. And I'm not telling you in your last 2 weeks you're going to be rich. What I am
Right.
saying is we're building the foundation to have a long-term business that makes us money on autopilot. That's what we're
Right.
doing. Okay. And
Right.
so we're going to produce products if we can, every single day, and let that be our momentum to our long-term product. So I'm going to go backwards for just a second. We did scriptures. So when we talked about the scripture cards, I would encourage you, Hazel, one additional thing is I would go back to, I would go over to Etsy real quick and look up printables for dogs and see what's already out there so that you can get an idea of the types of products that people already have out there. We're not going to, at any point, copy somebody else's product and sell it as our own. We're going to create
Right.
our own version of a product that is ours. So we're not here to get ourselves in trouble at all. So,
Right.
so Charlotte, you're going to go over to Etsy, and we looked at scripture cards yesterday. There's so many different ways in which you can go. I started with the simple one. This is the one I showed you yesterday. I was like, let's just start with something super, super simple. Nothing complex, nothing hard, no fancy designs. Like you can do the ones with the fancy designs if you want to. Like you can come over here, and if you want to make this one or you want to make any of these up here, you can make them. That requires you to sit in front of Canva for a little bit. If you want to do some fancy fonts, you literally could do this one, either one of these. But I think you start with something simple and basic every single day. So your first thing is you can Google a bunch of scriptures that you like. If you want to focus on a specific area, like if you want to focus on prayer, if you want to focus on love, if you want to focus on forgiveness, if you want to focus on honesty, if you want to, whatever you want to focus on, like create a series of scriptures, and I would sell them in those groups of the concept of what people are looking for. If someone is looking for scriptures on love, they want to find yours. If someone is looking for scriptures on forgiveness, scripture cards on forgiveness, they want to find yours. If they want to find scripture cards on hope, they want to find yours. So that's what I want to encourage you to do is I want you to get a notebook and I want you to write out what you're going to focus on for the next 14 days. For the next 14 days, what is your every single day? Day 1, I'm going to focus on love. Day 2, I'm going to focus on hope. Day 3, I'm going to focus on, whatever, forgiveness, whatever you want to do, write them down so that way you can start your process of getting your scriptures together. The second piece is that you need to figure out how many scripture cards you want to create. So do you want to do like a 10 pack? Do you want to do a 20 pack so that you know how many scriptures you got to find? This one happens to be 60. I mean, you don't have to do 60. Again, you can decide how many you want to do. But we're doing scripture cards, and then we're going to use that to build onto long-term where this is going. So you need to have a vision for your short-term and your long-term. What is it that you ultimately want to build? And if long-term, you would love to create a journal scripture book around a journaling guide or whatever for teenagers, because being a teenager is a little hard these days. It really is. It's harder than when I was a teenager, that's for sure. And so that may be something. Maybe you create a scripture book around hope for teenagers that they can use, a meditation guide while they're in school. You decide. And so you start grabbing all those scriptures now. You grab them today so you can use them 2 months from now. Do you understand, Charlotte? Charlotte, do you understand? You got me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So go grab the scriptures you want now so you can use them. Okay, so then Debbie. So you says you can also just use the copy page option and just change the picture. Absolutely, you could. You could. I really want you guys to create your own versions of stuff. You're right, Debbie, you can. Because I don't want us to get into a place where we can possibly get in trouble. Okay? I don't want us to get into trouble with anybody and steal anybody's design, because we're not stealing their designs. We're creating our own version of the designs or being inspired by their stuff. And so we are going to be looking. It's the same thing that happens on Amazon or eBay or Etsy. I mean, it's Walmart. It happens today on everything. We're just going to be inspired by and create our own versions of it. Because
Oh no, Nicole.
Uh-huh.
When you're in Canva, like you created the first dog picture with the wording.
Oh yeah, you can copy. Yes.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to worry about the fonts and everything else. You're just replacing the photo
That's
with
right.
the next one. That's
You're absolutely right. That's true. That's right. So Hazel, that's right. You can click on duplicate page and then you can just delete the image on the second page and use that. So I can come in here, delete, grab the next one, drag and drop. So you're right. Absolutely.
I'm not stealing.
Yeah, not stealing. Yeah. I would never advise anyone to steal anybody else's stuff. Absolutely. Okay. So Debbie, you sent me a message and you talked about endangered species. And I love that idea, but I don't know how much momentum already exists in the universe around that. And so going back to what I was telling Hazel about her huskies, or sorry, her Malamutes. In my mind, they're huskies. I'm sorry. But you're going to have to find your audience. Your audience is going to have to find you. And that may take you a little bit longer. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to make money in that area. You're probably going to make a lot of money because that is a very specific audience, a very specific targeted group of people. And so you'll probably be able to sell everything from long-term, bigger picture, hats, t-shirts, socks, jackets, notebooks, phone case covers. Like you're probably going to water bottles. Like you're probably going to run the gamut of what you could potentially sell that target audience. They're going to find your stuff. They're going to love your stuff. So if you want to start down that path, it may take you a little bit longer to build up your reserve of potential print on demand products until you get to that place. It may take you a little bit longer. And same thing I told Hazel. I just want you to be aware of that. So organization, there's an audience already out there because first of all, people that are selling their house, they need stagers. People that are selling their house, they may try to do staging on their own. People that want to buy houses, they're looking for a specific thing. People that are trying to organize themselves, especially over the summer. Sometimes organization projects start over the summer or before school starts. Parents are looking to get their kids organized before school starts. Parents are looking to organize their house over the summer. So organization, I feel like there is a flow of that. And there's a lot of different magazines, articles, books, blogs about it. I don't see at this point, only because I'm not looking, a lot of material around endangered species. But I will say, again, when we're able to pinpoint that target audience, you may actually make more money than all of us. The same thing with Hazel, because that audience resonates with whatever the product is that you put out there in the universe, and they buy it like hotcakes, and they tell their friends who have the same affection for the same thing. So yes, you have to decide. You can do both. I'm not saying you have to do one or the other. You can do whatever you want to. I'm just making you aware that your journey may be a little bit longer and may require a little more work, and it may be extremely rewarding on the other side. Yes. Because it's not a broad audience. It is a finite audience. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, you might start with the basics. Let's start with some basics. Maybe you can start with something simple like flashcards of endangered species. Maybe start with the most well-known, and then you can do least known, and then you can do flashcards for endangered species on different continents or in different countries. So you can start with that and literally break that out. You got to have 14 days because we're doing this for technically, I guess we're at 12 days, but you do 12 days worth of endangered species related flashcards. So we can play with the concept of doing research, and we can play with the concept of creating the cards inside of Canva. Okay. And there might be elements that don't exist. I don't know if endangered species is in here. I have no idea. So if it's not, then you may actually have to go somewhere and go onto a site, and we may have to actually buy designs that you can upload to your Canva account. But you have to make sure that you read the guidelines around what is sellable designs and what's not. So in Canva, we already know,
You'll be amazed. I mean, even like elephants, giraffes are already on the endangered species list, so they're easy to find.
They are the well-known
Yeah.
ones, but lesser
Yeah.
known ones are not. Lesser
It's
known,
sad. Yeah.
yeah. So that's going to be the thing is I want to encourage you to put out your game plan for the next 14 days.
Hmm.
And for the next 14 days, you need to have what are you creating every single day? We're going to start with simple, nothing complex, nothing complicated, nothing hard, where you can literally just use the clip art and drag and drop. So maybe you start with, the top 20, endangered species around the world. Then maybe the next day you do, top 10 or top 20 endangered species in Africa, the continent. Then top 20 endangered species in whatever. And then you can expand to, top 10 endangered species in the forest, the Amazon, whatever you want to call that, rainforest, the Sahara, like you can literally say, okay, these are the ones that are in this area and this particular type of environment. And so you can run the gamut, but you got to have a game plan for the next 14 days. So I want you to get your notebook out and write them out. And let's create some flashcards. Remember, whatever you create now, we're going to use that as something else, possibly later on, or we'll just continue to sell it standalone as its own thing. And the research that we've begun in that particular area, use that for something we're going to produce later on when we get to our KDP side of this print on demand journey. Does that make sense?
Yes. Can I ask a question about the Canva templates?
Uh-huh.
I've heard that if you use a pro picture that you can't sell it on a product. I don't
I've
know
not
if that's correct, but
I've not heard that.
okay.
So I have not heard that, but I will go back and I will do some quick research on that. My
'Cause
understanding is that you can't, because we use like I look, our entire planners, we have 15 planners in the works right now.
Mhm.
And in the planners that we've already created and sold, like we have stuff that's already in there. I did some research, on that, and I didn't see anything. So I'll go back and do some more research just to see if there's anything about Canva
Just
and
the
Pro.
graphics.
Yeah,
Just the
just the
graphics.
graphics. Yep,
Yeah.
because we use graphics.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do that, and I'll let you know tomorrow as soon as we meet. So I think so. Everyone sort of has their graphics card. Can you use for commercial use? Yes. Hold on. Stock, commercial purposes, marketing, advertising.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, I'll keep doing some research just to find out. And if not Canva, look, I have a whole look. I have I can tell you other tools that you can use. We're starting with Canva because it's one of the easiest. All of the other tools are similar in ease of use. So if we have to transition to a different tool, that's fine. We'll talk about other tools, but we're going to start with Canva as we play around. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I think everybody knows their assignment of what we're doing for the next 14 days. I want you to start your first design. Go ahead and start on your first design in Canva. If you need help, you can come 15 minutes extra early tomorrow. So instead of 6 o'clock, come at 5:45, and we will go through some of the basics of dragging and dropping and clicking and all of that other stuff with Canva to start a design. And then tomorrow we're going to get into copyright for about 10 minutes. In addition to, there's another topic. Sorry, I had a checklist. We're going to get into copyright. We're going to talk about whatever it was that I had in the back of my brain because we're already past our 30 minutes. But I wanted to make sure that you guys have a roadmap to go. Oh, sorry. We're going to talk about your cluster photo. So you have a cluster photo. Tomorrow we are creating cluster photos for your main image, for your listing on Etsy. That doesn't mean that everything we do is going to be listed on Etsy. Some of the stuff that we do is going to be listed on other platforms, other marketplaces, believe it or not. So we're going to start with this. Like some of the educational stuff that my son is doing, we're actually putting it on teacher websites. So where teachers, people can buy, teachers selling to teachers, or I forget the name of the website. But anyway, so there's going to be other sites. So we're going to put our stuff on. But for starters, you do have to create your cluster image that kind of showcases the product that you just created. And then you can showcase the secondary images that are behind it. So tomorrow we're going to do the cluster, and then we're also going to talk about copyright. And I think that's it. What questions do you have for me today? And if you did not get to participate in class 1 and class 2, this stuff is going to be uploaded to eCom Sellers Mastery website. There's going to be a print on demand section that's being added. Larry is working on that tomorrow. So hopefully you'll start to see those videos show up. If you need something before then, please hit me up, because I want to see everybody win. I want you to know how much money you can make with this low content stuff. But we're going to start with the basics of doing simple designs and use that to build onto something major long term. So the floor is yours. I'll give you like a couple of minutes to ask me questions, and I got to run downstairs and cook.
What is the best size you would suggest for flashcards, like a 3x5 or a 5x7?
3.5 by 5, I believe, is the common flashcard size. But the one thing about flashcards, when you're selling them, if you go look at many of the flashcard size, I had this conversation with my son yesterday, or David, a couple of days, 3x5. So you can do 3x5, and there's 4x6. So 3x5 is very common. But when you're doing flashcards inside of Canva, the thing you have to keep in mind is most of the people are going to be printing it on cardstock. So if you do 8.5 by 11, like, let's see, let me do. Finish the sentence. Just give me a second. Let me do numbers. That's easier. Numbers is easy to find because I can always find what I'm looking for. Okay, so this one right here, you'll see. I think in the information it says that it is printable. There's flashcards, and you'll see that there's 4 cards on an 8.5 by 11. You see that?
Yes.
And so the information that's in this listing, if I were to read the listing, I'm confident that it probably says something about, we highly suggest you print it on cardstock, and you will have to cut it. So there's going to be information as you continue to go through and look at some of these flashcards, that the majority of the time that they're printing it on cardstock is normally 8.5 by 11, and that they're going to have to cut it. So it's a digital download. They're going to cut the cardstock, or you can get perforated cardstock. If you sell on Amazon right now, then you can get like labels for different things, and you can print on labels. So it's the same concept of printing on your cardstock and then tearing it apart. So you need to make sure that your design is within the size limits to put 4 on a page or 6 on a page, if that's what you ultimately want to do. For my son, we're doing 6 on a page. So I forget what our dimensions are. I got to go back and look, but yeah. Okay. So this one is 4 on a page. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, yeah. All right. I hope this was a blessing to you guys. I look forward to hearing from you. Any other questions? All right, come back tomorrow. Let's talk about the next steps in this simplistic journey, the first 2 weeks. I'm excited. I'm very excited. All right, I'll talk with you later. Bye.
Thanks, Nicole. Good night.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.